Hello and welcome to Fintech Impact. I'm your host, Jason Pereira. Today on the show, I have Marcilio Oliveira, co-founder of Sensedia. Sensedia is a platform that provides API access through microservices for different financial institutions around the world, basically connecting them seamlessly. And with that, here's my interview with Marcilio. Marcilio, thanks for taking the time today.
Hi, Jason. It's a pleasure.
Excellent. So Marcilio Oliveira, tell us about what it is you do and Sensedia.
Great. Yeah. Here in Sensedia, we are helping the enterprise companies around the world to become more connected, open, and digital using the modern integration platform, using APIs, and try to become the world more connected.
So talk to me about the history of Sensedia. How did it come to be?
Yes. We created Sensedia 15 years ago to help companies to modernize the enterprise architectures. Sensedia was created based in Brazil 15 years ago. Now we have offices in different countries on the world, in America, Europe, other Latin American countries. And the last 10 years, we focused 100% of our effort in an API management platform to help companies to connect the core data in digital experience, partner journeys, and innovation. So this was an amazing journey in the last 10 years because it's like a tsunami of demand about companies trying to become more digital. And on the last 5 years, we created a specialized solution from financial institutions because it's a huge demand to become the banks, insurance companies, payment companies, to join more digital and to approach in a digital way with customers and to create a kind of ecosystem. So this is our core business for the last 15 years.
So you basically said you started a little bit more broadly and focused in on the APIs. Is that right?
Yes. We still are working with API management solution. We have companies using our solution from different verticals, retail companies, insurance companies, health companies, education. So this is a no vertical problem for integration. So yes, we already have an API modern integration platform that we are using for different verticals.
Excellent. So we talk about APIs a lot on this show, but I'd like to stop and pause to basically remind people what they are. So very simply, can you explain what an API is?
Oh, great. The very, very high level API are the glue of digital world. So it's the way that you can connect systems, old systems with digital experience. Looking in a zoom way, API, it's a kind of technology or approach that you can expose data in with a security way, with governance, to be connected with other experiences, independent of the technology. So it's the way, it's the connection between the legacy system with mobile apps, with ecosystems from partners, and with different kind of digital experience or digital behaviors. The APIs became very popular from the social networks like Twitter, Facebook, Uber. The more modern companies nowadays are based in APIs, but the major number of APIs are used for companies to enable data with secure scalability, governance, to achieve or to access the data for legacy system through new and modern systems like mobile apps, partner integration, etc. We can go in deep in technology, but I'm not sure
that works. That works. Okay. So bottom line is you help create platforms that connect softwares or different companies to each other. Talk to me about how that conversation gets started with these people. Are they coming out looking for you? Are they looking for solutions? Are you actively soliciting? How does it get started? And what is it? How does the entire journey start? Like, is it an audit of what they want to do? Do they come to you with projects?
Yes, Sensedia, we are focused in enterprise companies. So we are helping the traditional companies to cross the journey from digital. We have some companies like a digital born, and so we are not looking for that company now. We are looking for the traditional companies, and usually they asking from our help in three different scenarios. One, they are trying to modernize the digital experience. Like, I am creating mobile apps. I have more than one mobile app, and I need to integrate my apps in a fast way with my data from the legacy systems. So I need APIs. We have no choice. This journey, we are running through APIs. And if you are serious, the companies are serious about API, they need an API management solution to create an API, to manage these APIs. So the first point, the first journey, it's about digital experience. Almost 100% of digital experience is about mobile apps. The second point is, and I believe for financial market, this is the high point. We need to improve our partner experience, a way to integrate with partners, independent of the kind of partner, customers, the partner from our network, marketplace. So fintech ecosystem, you have just one way to integrate fast and easy with partner through APIs. So one company like are looking for create an open banking positioning or bank as a service positioning. Bank as a service is you are exposing some services as APIs to be consumed by our partners or customers. So this journey, they usually looking and asking from Sensedia, not just because the API, but because Sensedia has an offer that can help the companies on a strategy, not just with platform, but with professional services. And we have the number 3, it's about innovation. I need to improve my internal architecture to unlock data to use in new projects, independent of what kind of core banking or core system you use. So you have no choice. We need APIs to run this. So basically, companies are looking for Sensedia when they're trying to evolve the digital experience or partner integration, ecosystem positioning for open banking, bank as a service, open insurance. Now we are talking with companies about open health, or they are looking for innovation. Sometimes it's the 3 scenarios. I'm looking for open banking to improve digital experience and to create products to innovate. So this is basically sometimes why Sensedia is helping a lot the financial institution companies, because we are looking for regulation and the standardization like FDX. Sensedia has a FDX ready platform. We have an open banking regulated in Brazil. For instance, we are leading in Brazil open banking movement, and the professional services are trying to help our customers not to just create an API, but why you are looking for APIs, what kind of products, what kind of audience you are addressing. Is for partners.
Well, beyond that, you have to be getting down to the functionality. Like, what is it you
exactly
do with this API beyond just draw data? Is it account opening? Is it verification of identity? Is there any number? So the why has got to be just equally as important as the what it is you're trying to push.
Yes. Last week I was in Dallas presenting in a FDX conference. It was amazing because we have like 100, 200 financial institution companies there. All of them trying to discuss about strategy, not about tech, just tech. API, it's a very tech subject, but API supports new business model, new functionalities, new partners model, new positioning. I will explain just one example. We have a banking using APIs. It's not about Sensedia, it's about that bank. Original Bank. Original Bank, it's one of the more innovative digital banks in Latin America. They was born 15, 20 years ago as a digital bank. They don't have physical agencies, just on mobile apps and digital experience, and a huge success, etc. 3 years ago, they started to considering launching a bank as a service. Now, as the 100 of integration was running in APIs, full integrated approach, they launched in 1 year a new positioning as a bank as a service. So now Original has our bank system, they have direct customers, and they have a bank as a service offering. One example. Now Original Bank has 1 million of users, direct users, and they are achieving 19 million customers through bank as a service. It's not my bad English mistake. It's 19 million end users.
Yes,
so they are 19 times achieving more customers using bank as a service. For other banks, insurance companies, financial institutions, ex-competitors are using Original services to offer that services to their customers.
How many are coming from, like, what percentage of that breakdown, if you know, is existing institutions that were, non-digital before and converting over versus, native fintechs that have come into the market?
Yeah, for that scenarios, it's almost 100% for traditional banks. The strategy from Original, it's expose these services to be used by traditional banks. It's not traditional, but not fintechs. It's insurance companies or credit unions. They are using that service that originally has a product, is offering this project for 1 million customers. And now they are achieving a 19 million customers through other banks. Some of that bank, it's ex-competitors. We have other examples like Topazio's Bank. Topazio's Bank moved from bank as a service and they stopped it to work as a bank, just as a bank as a service. And they integrated just with fintechs. Now they have more than 80 fintechs using Topazio's APIs as a bank as a service. We have one example from Topazio's. They have loan. They offer loan contracts from end customers. Before bank as a service, as a retail bank, they used to sign 120 loan contracts every month. Now, through fintechs, on the last month, they signed 65,000 loan contracts through fintechs. So it's a totally changed game from revenue streams. So they stopped it to be a bank. If you go to the Topazio's Bank, they are not talking about, open accounts. No, it's not about this. It's about be our partner, bring your fintech to use our bank as a service. So it's a total change of positioning. This is based on fintech ecosystem.
Crazy. I'm curious. So you got your finger on the pulse of where this is happening around the world. Like what geographic regions are you seeing move faster into the open banking frameworks than others?
Yes. Yeah, we have, I talked about Brazil. Brazil had a 2 years project for open banking. Now we have the largest banking 100% compliance with open banking. This is amazing. In US, we have it's not an open banking movement, but it's not about regulation. It's about movement.
But I believe, yes, it's the free market approach to open banking.
Exactly. So I am very happy with FTX movement because the guys are working hard to create the standards, to help bank, to talk with others about standards, etc. But it's not so fast movement. But I believe that the innovators and the most fast innovators bank, they are looking for open the first APIs. So we can call the open banking. It's not about regulation, but it's about movement. I had very good conversation with banks from Canada. My perception is Canada will move fast about regulation. We have.
You're more optimistic than I am. But okay, so beyond there. Okay, so beyond Canada and let's keep going. Where else is moving quickly?
Yes, because the banks that I talk with, we are going to launch in the first semester for the next year. So maybe my perception is based on some 5-6 conversation. You'll have more connections at that market. But that banks that I talk with, I have a bias because I talk with banks that already are looking for API management and open banking. So it's not a full demonstration. It's a dedicated demonstration from banks that are already talking about open banking. Just other countries, Colombia launched this year open banking regulation. So we have some few movements. Obviously, we have UK in Europe. It was one of the pioneers about open banking, PSD2, etc. But for the new markets, I am very optimistic about US with the innovators, the digital early adopters, banks, about some movement in open banking. FTX is supporting a lot. FTX is looking for new API for the next year. Like they are talking about open payroll, for instance. So it's good. And we have other countries like Brazil and Colombia, maybe Mexico. They are looking for regulation. So this is a huge movement, but I believe it's a good time. I was in Fintech South conference 3 months ago in Atlanta. In Atlanta, we have like a lot of fintech ecosystem in Georgia. That time, 100% of the startups are looking for ecosystem integration, bank as a service positioning. So I believe it's became a hot subject in US too.
Right. So that's where you are today. So, I mean, frankly, you're we're still in the early innings of all the open banking stuff. So what do you see happening beyond setting up of the essential services where like the basic platforms that get everybody connected? I mean, looking forward, besides just you guys monitoring the pipes and making sure that they're flowing everywhere properly, where do you see a lot of this going?
Yes. Our purpose is on this scenario from making companies more connected, digital and open. But beyond the APIs, the first point, the huge number of APIs create new problems to solve, like API governance problem. Other scenario that we are finding a lot, it's a multi-gateway scenario. A single company is using different kind of API providers. And skip this scenario, So Sensedia is helping using API governance solution and other kind of integration like events, adaptive governance models. You can create different levels of governance from different kind of needs from companies. Event architectures, you can create architecture based in events. You have a solution from them. And the last mile is how to improve the developer experience. The companies started using API to be consumed by themselves. So I created an API. I talked with some banks in FTX last week that had created their own API management platform because they are using just for internal APIs. Okay. But
now
if
it's
you
not
look,
standard. So that's the problem. So I need another layer.
This is my way to talk with myself. So, okay. But sometimes they need to move this API to the world in an ecosystem position. All the financial institutions will be part from one or more ecosystems. The innovator have a chance to be the heart of the ecosystem, to create their own ecosystem exposing API. So if the company is looking for position as the central of ecosystem, they need to improve the developer experience. What is this? Is you create an APIs in a documentation or API portal. Take a look. API.Twitter, API.Facebook, API.Uber. It's easy to use. We have a metric, Jason, called time to first hello world. You need to create or to use the API in one day. If you are looking for instance, you are a fintech. You have two banks to use the service. The same service, the same tax. In one bank, you can open the API documentation, you can run the tryouts, you can download the documentation, and in 3 hours, you are integrated. The other bank, you need to call for the bank, to ask for a key, to receive a PDF document. Probably, you are going to integrate to the first one. You will be part from that ecosystem. So we believe that beyond the creating API, you need to evolve your partner and developer experience using API portal, documentation, almost the self-service approach. This is the success from why Topazio's Bank has 80 fintechs using the bank as a service, because it's easy to use. It's easy to integrate. The fintechs, they are not looking for a hard discussion about tech integration. They are looking for the good experience for the digital world. So we have invested a lot in digital experience for the companies beyond the API. We are looking a lot for events driving, microservice management. We have a solution for microservice management and API governance. The good news, all the company will have APIs. The bad news, all the companies are using APIs.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to spend your rest of your life basically translating these people. Good to know. Excellent. So before we wrap up, there's 3 questions I ask everybody that kind of on a positive note and think the blue sky way. First one is, if you had one wish for something you can change in your company, the industry as a whole, what would it be?
Openness. To be more open.
Well, openness is basically your stock and trade to some degree, right? So that makes sense. Excellent. Makes sense. So let me ask you that as a follow-up is, where do you feel there's a lack of openness? Is it a reticence of companies entering the space to basically like depart from their norms of basically keeping things closed and being very defensive with data?
Yes. I believe we need a first wave of innovators creating new business model and achieve results. And this will create the first wave of, someone is having money with this positioning. So we need to do something. We are going to a space that everyone needs to be a part of ecosystem. No one will be a business alone. But for sure, a lot of risks involved. Some countries solve this using regulation. Other as a new examples. For US, I believe you need a first wave of innovators and the first wave of use case being created.
Yeah. And no surprise, it's the Americans leading the way and just letting the market figure it out. Second question, what's been the biggest challenge in the company to where it is today?
We have different challenge, but looking for this market is to be convinced companies or look companies that not looking for tech subject and understand APIs as a business strategy. This is my first challenge because APIs has you are looking at, let's talk with developers. No, it's about a new positioning. You can use the APIs, but the first challenge is, or the main challenge is position Sensedia as a strategic companies from helping companies to be more open and digital and connected, not looking for tech or for a business strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say it's a common problem, especially with the uninitiated, that they look at, I like to say, unfortunately, look at technology solutions almost like they look at buying a toaster, right? They think it's an object or a thing to procure, and that's it, as opposed to, as I've said many times before, technology is not a strategy. Technology is there to enable your strategy. Without the former, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. If you count with technology to define the strategy, or your technology will be a gap for scaling your strategy.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of ways. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it makes so much sense. It's, at the end of the day, it's the difference between having a destination and just wandering aimlessly. And not too many people treat technology like an aimless wander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And last question I have is, what is it that you do that keeps you basically motivated and getting up every day to fight the good fight on this one?
Oh, great. Personally, I love to share stories from achievement with customers. So personally, my motivator is when I explain stories about customers and I look for people, wow, I would like to listen more about this. This company has changed his positioning. So to motivate myself is looking for new original banks, new Topazio's Bank, new SulAmérica's company, is to create or to help big companies to reinvent themselves with new positioning. This is my personal motivation. I used to tell that I love to tell stories about customers and success stories. This, maybe my feeling is this keep my motivated.
Well, Marcilio, thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
So that was today's episode of Fintech Impact. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you are a large institution looking to basically implement APIs, please take a look at Sensedia. As always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, or whatever's your podcast. Until next time, take care.
This podcast was brought to you by Woodgate Financial, an award-winning financial planning firm catering to high net worth individuals and their families. To learn more, go to woodgate.com. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, or find more episodes at jasonpereira.ca.